We are back with another video from Blind 75 series. This is LeetCode 128 longest consecutive sequence. We are there. We have been given an array of integers nums, and we have to find a consecutive sequence which is the longest among the other sequence. In this example, we can see that the longest sequence. Okay, there are multiple sequence first of all. So there is one sequence which is 100, that the another sequence that is 200, and we have another sequence which is starting from 1, so that is 1 2 3 4. This is one sequence of length 4, another sequence of length 1, another sequence of length 1. So we have altogether 3 sequences. So how we can find this sequences in O of n time, because we have been clearly asked to find it in O of n time. So one way could have been, we could have taken a number and then we would have looked for the next number in this array. That we could have done by using two for loops, because we have to first take one number and then we have to see whether we have 101 or the next number in other numbers, right? But since we have been clearly asked not to have an n square solution, so definitely we can't do that. So one very important thing here is, we are basically looking for numbers, right? So whenever we have to look for something, so we should, it should strike immediately to us that we can use hash map or sets. So we have used hash map and sets in other problems we have solved so far, that is two sum, contains duplicate, and valid anagrams. Similarly here also what we can do is we can store all the numbers in the set so that we can get the values in O of n time, oh sorry, O of 1 time. So we can create a set and keep all the values inside this. So whenever we want to get the values, we can easily get in O of 1 time. Now the lookup will become in the constant time. The another observation what we can do from here is, what we can see from here is that we need to find an element which is the start of a sequence, because there is no point forming the sequence which is a part of a sequence. Let's say here we have 1 2 3 4 four numbers. If I will if I get 2 and I have to see whether it's a part of a sequence or not, I have to keep looking on the left hand side and keep looking on the right hand side and then form the sequence. That will be quite cumbersome and we have to do a lot of comparisons. Better than that, what we can do is, first we need to ascertain that what number we are having right now, is it a start of a sequence or not. If somehow we get to the start of a sequence, then we can just see the next numbers and we can clearly get the longest sequence or whatever sequence it is, and we can store that value in some variable, that so that finally we can get the answer. So now in this case, if we see, we can easily find out the start of a sequence. How we can find out is, we just have to check whether, okay, this 200, we have this number 200, whether do we have a number before, the number before 200 is 199. Do we have 199 in my set? No, I don't have. Then this is a start of a sequence. What about 100? Do we have 99? No, we don't have 99. So this is a start of a sequence. What about 4? For 4, the previous number would be 3. Do we have 3 in our set? Yes, we have. So this is not a start of a sequence. What about 1? Do we have previous number, that is 0, in this set? No, we don't have. So that means this is a start of a sequence. So this is also a start of a sequence. So now what we can do next is, since we know this is start of a sequence, we will try to see whether we can get next number. So what we can do is, we can keep adding a value of 1 each time and keep looking for that value in the set. If we will get the value, that is 2 here, then we will again add 1, and then we'll keep looking whatever we are getting the value out of addition, and we'll be storing this in some local variable called length, and we can just compare this length with the longest streak variable, and we will keep updating longest streak, and at the end we can return the longest streak. So this is how we are going to solve it in O of n time. So as you can see, there are numbers which is part of a sequence are getting traversed twice, once while we have come across that number and once while we have been forming that sequence. So as far as time complexity of this is concerned, we can say that this will take O of n plus n time, that is near about O of n only, because we know at most one number will be traversed twice, once while we have come across it while we are traversing in the array, and once while we are forming the sequence. So let's move to the code and understand it better. So now let's solve this problem. So first of all, we need to store all the values in the sets as we discussed. So first we'll create a set and we'll store all the values. Now we'll create a variable called longest streak, where we'll be storing all the streaks we have been seeing so far, and we'll be storing the longest one. Now we'll be looping through the array and we'll be getting the values one by one. Now we will try to see we'll try to see whether this number is a start of a sequence. If this is a start of a sequence, then there won't be the there will not have the previous number in the set. So the previous number will be num minus 1. So we have to check whether the previous number is not there. If the previous number is not there, then this is a start of a sequence. So if it is a start of a sequence, we have to form the sequence first to find out the next number. So we'll use a while loop and we'll keep on checking the numbers next to this number. So for that we have taken one variable called length. So initially the value I'm making it as 1, because we have come across one number definitely, so that is a part of a sequence. So length initial is 1. Now we can have a while loop where we can just check whether we have in my set whether we have num plus 1, sorry, num plus len. Now if it is there, then we'll incrementing the length value and we'll be looking for the next value. And at the end we have to update our longest streak with the current value, if the current value is the max value we have come across. So the previous longest streak and whatever length I have just come across will have to compare, and at the last we need to return the longest streak. I hope this is working fine and I have not made any stupid mistake, and this works fine. Let's submit it and see. And this works fine as well. So the time complexity of this solution is O of n. Why O of n? Because some of you might be thinking that I'm using a while loop inside this for loop, so this should be more than that. But no, the thing is we are going inside this loop only in the cases where we are forming the sequence. So while forming the sequence, will come inside this, right? So if a number is a part of sequence, these numbers are part of a sequence like 2, 3, 4, so those will be traversed twice. So we can say that the time complexity would have been O of n plus n, but that in big O notation that comes as O of n only. So that's why the time complexity is O of n, and we are not going in this while loop for every number. We are going in this while loop for only those number from where we are starting the sequence. And the longest sequence will be the one where most of the number will be getting traversed through the while loop. So in this case, as we can see, the longest streak was 4 and most of the number have been traversed through that only. I hope you like the video. Please share the video with your friends and hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done it. Thank you. Take care. See you in the next video.